everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
It's a dynamic duo pod today. Let's get into what we've been playing for once in the past month. It's not a Hades update from us today. Even though we could give you a Hades update, because I've still been playing a lot of Hades.
I've taken a break from Hades, and I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I've not been more interested in Ghost of Tsushima than I am right now with the fact they added a bunch of free content and a raid, which is cool.
Yeah.
That you barely have to have 4 people to play.
Yeah, you the multiplayer is really, really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been going through waves and waves of survival. You need people to play that game. Like, you need partners. Like, there's no way you can do anything. But the game is intuitive enough where you don't need to talk to anybody. I don't want to talk to these people. They get on my nerves, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't tried the raid yet. I'm hoping that you can just I'm hoping that they're not going to Destiny it, where you have to be a fully formed party before you can go in the raid.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of want to go at it with randos and, see where it takes me. But it's really fun, man. Really, really fun.
So one thing you and I have in common is we personally undervalue our abilities and skills as video game men, despite the fact that we're probably better game players than we think we are. I get scared off of certain games just because I hear, oh, it's really hard. And I was like, oh, hard games aren't for me. So I tend not to play them. And I avoided roguelikes for this reason for a very long time, because I always thought, they're crushingly difficult. And, they have like a lot of the Dark Souls, kind of thing to them. And so I never played them. And then Hades opened my world to roguelikes that aren't Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire is a completely different thing altogether. So now I'm checking out the roguelike back catalog, as it were, checking out some of the best roguelike games that I missed, that I've heard really good things about. So I've been playing both Risk of Rain 2 and Dead Cells. I'll start with Dead Cells because I've been playing Dead Cells the most between those two. I know Terrence has talked about it on the show before. Really fun game. It is. I enjoy the gameplay in that game more than I do like a Castlevania, which is kind of the closest comparison that I can make for that. And that Dead Cells really does kind of ease you along slowly, because your progression is tied to finding different blueprints that unlock different weapons and skills and stuff like that you can use throughout the game. So they definitely, there's a premium placed on just getting good at playing the levels. And it's the one that I've seen that the roguelike game that I've seen so far between Hades and Risk of Rain that really does, you do a little better every time. And you do a little better every time. Like Hades, like I could usually get to either the end of a world or the close to the end of a world on my first run, and then I would just get tripped up on the boss, or I'd be just beat up from having to get to that point essentially. But in Dead Cells, it really is like you just make a little bit more progress each and every time. I finally, in this last run that I had, which I just finished up like 20 minutes ago, finally beat the first boss. Made my way through some of the second areas as we go. It's also a game that doesn't feel unfair at all, which a lot of games like that certainly can. You definitely, when you die, it's earned, and all the enemies have attack patterns that can be learned and memorized and played around with good play. It's fun. I wasn't expecting that game to be as fun as it has been so far. The music could use a bit of an upgrade. That's probably the only thing so far that I'll say is a big downer. The music really sucks. It's just kind of like an ambient soundtrack in the game. Like they could have like Konami soundtracked that game and it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they just hire the dude that did the soundtrack for Bloodstained?
Yeah.
To do a soundtrack for that game. They did release an 8-bit version of the soundtrack in the game that you can enable in the settings instead. I might try that and hopefully it'll work a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Dead Cells cool. I see the problem with Hades now is that Hades is, I'm at the point with Hades that I actually have to have time to sit down and play it, because every time I do a run in Hades, like it's at least half hour, 45 minutes, because I'm going to make it to the end. I
Right.
can't tell you the last time that I didn't at least get 2 sticks before I died in
Right.
Hades, if not to the final boss fight itself. And I'm on like a 7 streak right now as far as clearing it.
Jesus.
And showing no signs of stopping, Micah. The pack of punishment is not slowed me down at all so far in here. But yeah, but Dead Cells, like since I'm not quite proficient yet, like a run in that could take anywhere from 10 minutes to, this last one I did was 25. Speaking of games that runtime is all over the place, Risk of Rain 2 is definitely the more challenging of the 2 games that I've played so far.
It
So
sounds hard.
It is hard. Risk of Rain 2 is a third-person shooter, and it is still a roguelike, and there's some exploration elements. And basically, you get dumped into these biomes, and you run around, and enemies will start, popping out of the ground or just appearing in thin air and attacking you. You got to shoot them. The way that you differentiate in Risk of Rain is there's different classes of characters. I've only used the Commando class so far, which is the initial one. There's 10 total. I haven't used the one that I just unlocked last time I played. But they all have different special abilities, and the way they play is pretty standard. You don't really change up how your abilities work in the game, or at least not that I've discovered yet. What does change is the items that you get along the way. So there's different items, and really the items, what they do for you is they're a lot of passive passive boosts, basically. Like they'll give you upgrades to your attack speeds, or enemies will drop healing orbs when you kill them, or you'll get a temporary shield every time you kill an enemy. And getting those, and getting a shitload of them is kind of the way to play that game. The best run that I had in that game was I think I had like 15 or 20 items that I had gotten, and they were all just a hodgepodge of various things. Like you're kind of really like hacking a build together as you play Risk of Rain. The game does get super challenging because especially each level has a teleporter that you have to locate and activate and wait for to charge up. And then while you wait for that to charge up, a boss spawns that you have to kill. And then also a shitload of enemies with the boss spawn as well. So it can become like a bullet hell game at times with how much like running and shooting and dodging and all sorts of stuff. But you really have to leverage your special abilities that you get to your advantage. There's also some equipment upgrades you can get, but those are much fewer and further between. And then the other thing Risk Rain does that's really fun is when every run you start on, the way that it makes the game harder is not based on how far you progress, but how long it takes you to get there. Because there's a timer in the corner, and every run starts on easy difficulty. And as you play, that timer just increases, and there's a bar that has like easy difficulty. And then once you hit like, I think it's 6 minutes, it switches to medium difficulty, and that persists for a while. And so basically, the longer you play, the harder the run gets into the penultimate or the ultimate difficulty, I should say. It just says ha 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 continually across the entire screen. So it's a weird juxtaposition because you want to get through stages as fast as possible, but if you get to the teleporter too quickly and spawn the boss without leveling up and without finding some stuff, you're going to get the shit kicked at you. So that you're trying to balance between speed and efficiency in that game. It's still really fun. I did stream it, so if you go to twitch.tv/DensePixelsBrad, you can check out when I played for the first time the other night and watch me saying holy shit a lot as things were just flying at me. I couldn't see. Good times though. Like I said, I'm gonna stick with both for a while. Maybe longer than I thought, considering
yeah.
that we'll get later in the show. But 2 good picks, I would definitely say. And I think they're both like $25. I bought Dead Cells on the Switch, and I bought Risk of Rain on the PS4 because damn me playing a third-person shooter.
Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. I had to buy these like hoary extensions for the Switch. And
see, I thought about getting those, but you lose functionality. Like it doesn't have Rumble with that.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Like that sucks.
Yeah, I mean they make the thing huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like they feel good, but they make the thing huge. And where am I going? Right? Like, I'm not going anywhere. So I don't have anywhere to take my Switch. I don't go to work, so I don't take my Switch to work anymore because we live in the end game. But anyway,
Yeah. So there are a few games coming out this week. If you're looking for something new to play, sneaking up on us, the long delayed Watch Dogs Legion.
I turned my PlayStation on and I saw a Watch Dogs logo there, and I'm like, "What? I forgot that I had pre-ordered this game. It was so long ago."
Here's the problem though. It missed the window for me because like I was ready for that game to come out in the spring,
Mhm.
but now that it's coming out now, like I don't know if I really want it because Valhalla comes out,
Valhalla comes out in like 2 weeks.
right? Like it's essentially a launch title for the next gen for the next
Yeah.
consoles. So am I going to just buy Watch Dogs to play for 2 weeks? That's not what I do. I'm
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
going to pass on it, or maybe when it gets like cheap later, I'll pick it up on a sale.
I'll let you know. I can pretty much tell you right now, you don't need to play this right now,
Right.
especially with Valhalla coming out. Like, the only reason I haven't pre-ordered Valhalla is because it comes out the day that or a couple days after the other systems come out.
Well, that's the other thing too is that with like I wasn't planning on playing Assassin's Creed right away because Cyberpunk was coming out, and then now not. So now I'm going to pay full price for Assassin's Creed, which is not something that I was planning on doing.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that either. Like, I'm not into this time period, but it's interesting. It's not grabbing me like some of the other ones.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'll just wait till look, it's a Ubisoft game. It'll be $40 in a month. It'll be $20 in 3 months on a sale.
You're not lying.
But I don't know. Maybe I'll play it.
Well, you're going to need something to do.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, as many games are coming out, I don't think any of them are going to be on your playlist, except for maybe one. Not this one though. The Dark Pictures anthology, Little Hope, comes to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Pikmin 3 Deluxe comes to the Switch. Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid saga continues, comes to PS4 and Xbox One. That's probably not going to be a good game, guys. Just FYI. I know.
Yeah.
Y'all enjoy Cobra Kai out there on Netflix, but
I can't imagine that this game is is going to be worth a damn.
no.
But okay.
The only one that I think you might check out that's getting a bit of buzz is Ghost Runner, which comes to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. It's a first-person like ninja platformer.
I've seen videos and a couple of reviews on it. It looks very interesting, but it seems like if you want to be able to get the most out of that, you probably need to be playing with a mouse and keyboard.
Interesting.
Just the way that the fast pace that the game is, or at least the videos that I've seen, like I don't know if a controller could handle it. It would be like trying to play like Quake or something like that with a controller. But it actually looks pretty good. I don't know, maybe.
The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4 comes to the PlayStation 4. Auto Chess comes to PS4. And then Who Wants to Be a Millionaire comes to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. That was a very terrible Regis Philbin. R.I.P. in peace, Regis.
This Cobra Kai game looks like garbage. By the way, like,
I assume it's a fighting game of some kind.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like the natural evolution of kung fu.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like it wants to be well, I guess it technically is a third person like beat 'em up, right? Like Streets of Rage. But no, no, looks bad. Looks terrible. Much like that Cobra Kai show. Oh, I haven't watched the show.
I haven't either. Like I enjoy the Karate Kid, but I'm not like
Yeah, I don't give a damn, dude. like I will watch it when it's almost over, and then I'll ask people, "Hey, have you guys seen this show?" Because that's what I do with television. Go to youtube.com/densepixels. Like, share, subscribe, click the bell notification icon to be notified on all of our new videos. While you're just whoring about on the internet, go to densepixels.com /premium. Yeah, we'll switch it up. Go to densepixels.com /premium. $5 a month, $50 a year. You get access to the premium slate of podcasts, including the airing of grievances. Look, and I usually don't put the look right after airing of grievances, but I am keeping Jay on a schedule because we're so close to just being done that I want to get these done in a timely manner. There are about 3 new episodes out already, and we're moving. We're moving and we're grooving, and we are going to get these things out. No Time to Bleed, our action movie podcast. We do those once a month ish. That'll cover me, right? The ish. The Men with the Golden Tongues, we do once a month ish.
speaking of things we got to get on a regular.
Yeah. Upstage Conversations is once a month, and you get the full weekly episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast. Man, we're coming down to the wire.
It is. Recording that as soon as I'm done this tonight.
Yeah, I figured as much.
As you're listening to this podcast, there may be a new episode to look forward. Also, saying, finish listening to us first, and then
yeah, absolutely. Finish listening to us. You get your appetizer, and then you get your main course. Because I really like that show. I am bestowing it main course status, but only if you get the premium version of it. You can still listen to it, right? You can still go to Look Forward, or you could still listen to Look Forward, just like you could listen to the Nerdpocalypse, Black on Black Cinema, Coming Distractions. We have a movie review for Borat's subsequent movie film, and you could still get all of that stuff. But if you want to get everything, go to densepixels.com/premium.
Yeah, and I will say we don't know what exactly yet, but we do know that next Tuesday night, live election coverage from Look Forward with at least me and Jay, and perhaps more. We'll see what happens. We talked last week about Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez streaming on Twitch, playing Among Us, setting up a brand new Twitch account to raise awareness for voting. Apparently it was a huge success because she had over 435,000 people viewing at her peak concurrent during that stream that she did for Among Us. Pretty crazy and very encouraging, I gotta say.
Yeah. I watched some of the highlights, and everybody looked like they were having a good time. But she made sure to get the message out there to go and vote. And this is how you reach young people, man. I mean, I have to imagine that she's preaching to the choir a bit for, but at the same time, the fact that she is doing this and it made news might reach people beyond that choir. Yeah, this is awesome. This is what people who don't play video games, who think video games are just like a dumb kids thing, like this is what they don't see, and they need to see stuff like this. So,
well, like we said, you gotta meet people where they are, and a lot of young folks, like, this is a great way to raise awareness for them and to encourage them to get out to vote. Her stream is now among the top 5 most viewed streams in Twitch history. Of course, the top spot is still when Ninja played Fortnite with Drake. That's still number 1 overall. which hit 635,000 peak concurrents. But hey, not bad for your first stream. If she keeps it up, she'll make partner quick. So there you go. Ubisoft has announced that there's a new feature, new platform rolling out with their games called Ubisoft Connect. The big thing that it's going to basically be a network that's replacing Ubisoft Club and Uplay. We all know Uplay, the most useless service that was ever devised, that got you like in-game stuff, but you had to go through many hoops to get it. Hopefully, Ubisoft Connect will be a little bit more streamlined. But the coolest feature is that because all of your saves will be backed up on Ubisoft Connect service, all saves for Ubisoft games going forward are going to be cross-platform. So if you ever decide to switch platforms or you go back and forth between like your console and your PC, you can bring your save with you, which I think is pretty dope. Not much else to say about it. It's a neat feature. They have a lot of games coming out this fall.
Yeah, and they feel like they're all coming out at the same time.
Well, they are. I mean, because like I said, we talked about Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed. The Immortals Phoenix Rising game, I think, is supposed to come out December 9th.
Yeah, this is weird, man.
Which is getting some preview play. I bet you they have to be pissed off that fucking Genshin Impact has become the phenomenon that it has. They're taking their market share of Breath of the Wild clone. And it's free to play.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for it. Yeah, they got like 3 games coming out within 3 weeks of each other. It's like a WWE pay-per-view schedule. it's just big thing after big thing after big thing, all within like 6 weeks. So it's odd. I was looking at this Immortals Phoenix Rising. I was like, do I want this? Because I like Greek mythology, but I'm not like I don't know. I got a funny thing about this.
Like I said,
I
have a feeling the game will probably be good, but do I need to play another fucking Zelda game right now, or do I just wait for Zelda 2 to come out in 3 years?
Right. Like, I didn't get into Breath of the Wild like I thought I would.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'm getting over this type of action adventure game. I like to think not, but who knows?
Yeah. Speaking of Ubisoft, they swung and missed with the Assassin's Creed movie that came out a few years ago. But they're bringing it to Netflix as a TV show. Basically, there's a series that is a, quote, epic, gender-bending live-action adaptation of Assassin's Creed that is coming to Netflix sometime over the next couple of years. Of course, Netflix has probably been servicing video game adaptations better than most ever have, because you got Castlevania, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I think I still need to watch the 3rd season. I don't think I've sat down for that one yet. The Witcher, though not based on the video games, is kind of a video game franchise in some ways.
Yeah, that's where its popularity came from, the games, right? Like, unless you live in Poland, that's where the popularity kind of hit.
Micah, do you think a 10-episode Netflix series is going to be more successful than the Assassin's Creed movie? Do you think it'll be better than the Assassin's Creed movie?
Yes, to both of those. They at least have the look. In order to tell stories the way they need to be told right now, they need to be told in long form, which is why we are in the golden age of television. And this whole like bingeable thing that we do is helps this. This has a good chance to be very successful. I mean, on the other hand, like Netflix has no problem putting out garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I have high hopes for this. I hope that they treat this like an anthology. The thing for me with Assassin's Creed, like, it has an overarching story, about people trying to find the apple of Eden, and you find it, you get all these powers and shit like that. But they kind of dropped some of that, and they're kind of cherry picking the overarching story that they want.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Templars versus Assassins, And if this is an anthology, you have the potential to go to many different places within many different seasons, right? Like you spend one season, I don't know, in Babylon, and then you spend another season in the Renaissance, and then you spend another season. Like you can, and then you can do what they do with the overarching stories in the game. Like, yeah, it's kind of there, but like nobody really cares. Like we're kind of focused on these stories. That this is a very good idea, and I hope it is. I hope it's good.
Well, now the problem the movie had is that, what is it, like 70% of the movie took place in current time and 30%
Yeah,
was animus, and you have to reverse those ratios for a second.
right.
Like it doesn't work that way, but because in the movie they had to establish the universe and what that was and how the technology worked, whereas with the Netflix show that could just be the first episode, and then like the first episode ends with, he gets in the animus and all of a sudden he's in, ancient Egypt or whatever you want to do, and then credits, and then you're geared up and ready for the next episode.
Exactly.
Either that or you do it Quantum Leap style, where every episode is a different time period that he just keeps.
Yeah, hopefully they don't. Hopefully they don't use some of the unflattering language like that one clip from Quantum Leap, where he leaped into someone who. Yeah, no, we don't use that terminology anymore, buddy.
For those of you under the age of 25, Quantum Leap was a popular show in the early 90s on the USA Network, starring Scott Bakula as a person who leapt into other people's consciousnesses and during time travel.
Do you
journey to find his way back home?
Wow. Do you think, because Amir is a young guy, he's a mover and a shaker. He is my barometer for what is young and hip. Do you think Amir knows what Quantum Leap is, or who Scott Bakula is?
So, yes, the Quantum Leap, he's at least aware of it. No, he does not know the theme song. That's the true barometer of whether or not you are of a certain age. Scott Bakula, borderline. I'm trying to think of other things that Scott Bakula would be in that hip kids would have possibly seen him in. I think his IMDb is littered with like TV credits now, so I don't know.
Wasn't he in like Star Trek or something like that?
Oh, you know what? I think he was. But I don't know which. Which spinoff he was in.
Yeah, I think he was in a Star Trek. So yeah, he might know who Scott Bakula is.
Like I said, Scott Bakula, one of the the Richard Dean Andersons, of his particular TV generation. Richard Dean Anderson was MacGyver before, back in the 80s. For again,
like, no, Brad, it's pronounced MacGruber. Like, no. Which he was in Scott Bakula was in a show called Men of a Certain Age.
He was, and I'm aware of that show, but again, it starred also Ray Romano and Andre Braugher. So again, not expecting Amir to necessarily be hip to Scott Bakula based on that show.
That's funny.
Fire Emblem. So, Micah, did you know the original Fire Emblem game came out in Japan in 1990?
Wow. I
had no clue about that.
No.
It's never come out in the United States until now. So, coming this December. It's only listed for $5.99 in the Nintendo eShop. Comes out December 4th. However, it's only available until March 31st, 2021.
Yo, what is this? What is this? What are you doing?
Nintendo apparently is like Disney vaulting all of their games now. Essentially,
come on.
That's how they release all their first-party titles.
Like, but it's digital, right? Like, it's not like, oh, we better hurry up and buy this physical copy because once they put it in the vault, then the value will go up.
It is a $6 digital download. Is what it is.
Oh, come on, man! Like,
I'm just saying, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, yeah, they're very odd. They're very odd over there at Nintendo.
Yeah. Like, I guess they're just trying to gin up as much, demand as they possibly can. But anyone that wants this game will buy it in the first week anyway.
Right. I just don't I missed my chance to buy Fire Emblem, and I'm never gonna get a chance to again until they need they need a quick payday. Unless they need some gas money over there at Nintendo.
Here's a story that perhaps you, Micah, can help shed some light on this for me, because I'm confused as to what exactly is entailed in this. So Dave Bautista was a skin for in Gears 5 multiplayer. It's a big deal when they announced that. So when Gears comes to Xbox Series X soon, they're kind of trying to do like a big re-release. I guess this is what passes for a launch lineup for Microsoft. They're releasing a game that came out a year ago. It's coming with a refresh that now Dave Bautista is going to be recasting Marcus Phoenix in the game, both in visual appearance and voice acting. So here's my question. Is it literally just Dave Bautista doing the Marcus Phoenix role from start to finish? Like, did he re-record all of the dialogue for the game?
I believe that is it. That is it, right?
Why are they making John DiMaggio a bitch? Like, he's a notable voice actor.
He's a very noticeable voice actor. He's Bender. He's Bender from Futurama, guys. There was a back when Batista was like Deacon Batista, and he had no facial hair except for the stuff right under his lip, right? His soul patch. He he was a big dude. He kind of sort of looked like Marcus Phoenix, and people were like, "Oh man, if they ever do a Gears of War movie, you know who I would cast as Marcus Phoenix? Dave Bautista." And ever since then, people have always Gears fans have always kind of wanted to see Dave Bautista as a Gear, and now they get it. It doesn't make any sense, right? Because Marcus Phoenix is a grizzled old man in Gears 5. And Dave Bautista is very much, Dave Bautista.
I have to imagine that for fans of the series, that's going to be incredibly jarring to hear and see someone that looks like Dave Bautista just being Marcus Phoenix. But
look, this is my only look. I don't have a problem with this. I think it's kind of cool. 99% I'm cool with. There's 1% of me that's just like, yo, if you're gonna go in all the way, right? At the end of this clip, they show Gear Batista doing a power bomb, but it's a power bomb, not a Batista bomb.
Oh, just a regular power bomb?
I think it's a regular power bomb.
That's no good.
I think it's a regular power bomb. I don't see him sit down in it, but it's moving kind of fast. If it's a regular power bomb, that's a no-go. If it's a Batista bomb, all right. It's like that kombucha lady. Regular power bomb, Batista bomb.
It's the little things we care about as wrestling fans. There's also additional story DLC coming in December for Gears 5 as well. So you have to look forward to.
I'll play Gears 5.
Yeah, I know you enjoyed it.
I mean, what else is there to play?
Right. Facebook is getting in on the cloud streaming service, kinda. If you go to the gaming tab on Facebook, you can now play certain free-to-play cloud streaming games, but they're all like mobile games. Like they mentioned WWE Supercard, Mobile Legends Adventure, PGA Tour, Golf Shootout. So this is like the dipping the toe into the streaming waters that Facebook is trying here. Not nearly to the level as any of their contemporaries, basically. So not a whole lot to say. I don't know that this really is going to be a big story for anyone that listens to this show that I'm aware of. But hey, you got some free to play games on your Facebook if you want to check that out.
All right.
Super Mario 3D All Stars is getting a camera patch, but not the one that they freaking need. Instead of getting a patch for Mario 64 that lets you control the camera freely with the right analog stick, as it'd be awesome if you were able to do. Instead, they're getting the camera patch that will allow you to invert the camera controls for all 3 games. Who asked for this? Apparently, you could invert the controls in Super Mario Sunshine when people were miffed why you couldn't do it in the All Stars version.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think y'all are weird that use inverted controls in shooters anyway. This ain't even,
you're not flying a plane, guys.
Right.
Yeah, this is weird. This is weird to me, man.
Yeah.
I don't like. They're like left-handed people. They're weird. They got the devil in them.
Couple delays to let you guys know about. Destruction All-Stars, originally a PlayStation 5 launch title, has been delayed to February, but it's going to be a PlayStation Plus game when it does release. According to Sony, it's a multiplayer game that's at its best when you're playing with competing gamers online. They want as many people as possible to experience the mayhem, and what better way to do that than provide the game for free to our PlayStation Plus members? This is a smart strategy for a game that probably wasn't going to sell incredibly well. It was probably going to be bolstered by the fact that it was one of the few launch games that were going to be available for the system. The fact that you're moving it out kind of diminishes that, so you might as well give it away for free. And who knows, the game might be good. You might have like a Rocket League style game on your hands here.
Is this like a combination of like Rocket League and like a hero shooter?
I would say like maybe throw a shade of Twisted Metal in there as well, without all the
without all the cool shit.
Yeah. So, but again, it'll be free, so I'll check it out.
Yeah, whatever. It's free.
Yeah.
If I don't like it, I'll just get rid of it.
And of course, the gut punch that came out today: Cyberpunk 2077 delayed into 2077. No, just kidding. It's coming out. It's coming out December 10th. It feels like it's going to get delayed to 2077. The reason for the delay is because they were working on a day 0 patch for the game that will not be ready in time for the game's original November 19th release. CD Projekt Red attributes this to working on 9 versions of the game simultaneously and making sure that the game will run smoothly on all of them. See, at this point, I just want them to wait for the next gen version to be available and then just release all of them at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not butthurt about this. Like I am privileged enough to be able to have other stuff to play. If this was the one game that you were planning on buying, sorry about your luck, but like I've been looking at comments online of responses to this, and some people are like, hey, take all the time you need, and some people are like, just release it and then we'll play a broken game and then release the patch. Like, all right, yo, I'm gonna need everybody to calm down, man. Like you just take a chill pill, man.
What if they release 2 versions? You get Cyberpunk 2077 broke version and then regular version later on. But the catch is, with the broke version, it'll never get patched. Whatever, however it releases, that's what you're stuck with. But we're getting it early.
Yeah, people were lamenting about, like, I took time off of work to play this game. Like, well, untake it. Right. Like it has
your PTO. It has.
No, Brad. Once you apply for your PTO, once it gets approved, that's it. You have to use it. It sucks, but what are you gonna do, man? Like, if they put it out, if they work these people around the clock, someone would have leaked that information.
They still are. That's the thing. Like, they're still,
right. Exactly.
6-day work weeks until this thing comes out.
Exactly. So you can't be like, oh, these developers, their crunch is bad. But then they say, all right, hey, we need a little more time, and then you like pick one, man.
So an interesting tidbit, apropos of nothing. Apparently, this delay will take the game out of consideration. Well, obviously it has to, because the Game Awards happened before the game is now scheduled to come out. But now it's out of consideration for the 2020 Game Awards. Like
Yeah.
it'll have to wait an entire year to be put up for that, which is clearing the runway for Hades, my man. The runway is clear.
I mean, look, it was going to be down to like I have my 2 right now. And it's neck and neck between Hades and Ghost of Tsushima. And Ghost of Tsushima, I mean, it made a tremendous comeback, right? Like up the chain of what could be my game of the year. But yeah, man, all right. Now, do you think, I don't know if the gaming community cares about the Game Awards like other, mediums care about their big awards,
It's not to that level. No, I wouldn't say that.
So, but do you think that them coming out being eligible for the Game of the Year 2021 would will people remember this?
Yes.
You think so?
Oh wait, will they remember the delay or will they remember the game?
No. Will they remember the game in
it's still going to be one of the tentpole experiences, especially of the new console generation. I think.
Yeah.
If it's as good as Witcher.
Yeah.
One assumed.
Yeah.
You know what else might be in Game of the Year contention, Micah? Spider-Man PS5. Combined, it depends on how they treat that. Will they do they take Spider-Man PS5 and Miles Morales as one entity, or are they forced to be looked at as being split off? Because Jeff Keighley has said that his qualifications for Game of the Year is not a game released in the past year. It's just whatever game was the most impactful game that year. Even if it came out like 3 years ago, it would still be able to win Game of the Year.
Oh,
because it's based on what people nominate. That's why Hades has a chance to win this year, even though it technically came out last year.
Oh yeah, that's right. Through early access.
But this is the year that it really took the gaming world by storm.
Oh.
So
okay. All right.
So Spider-Man, if they combine Spider-Man PS5 with Spider-Man Miles Morales as one entity, that's a contender, I feel like.
You know what? I'll take it. Game of the Year is going to be fun.
Last of Us 2 is up this year, or Last of Us Part 2 is up this year.
I haven't played that game. It looks like a perfectly fine game. Everyone who's played it seems to really enjoy the story. They keep talking about the story. The story is great. The story. Let's not talk about the mediocre stealth mechanics, but the story is really good. And that's what we play games for. Story.
Finally, before we move off this topic, a percentage chance that Cyberpunk actually comes out on December 10th.
Oh, no. At this point, they'll come back and be like, "Hey, we got a Christmas present for you."
I put my odds at 80% chance that Cyberpunk comes out on December 10th.
I am going to say there's a 60% chance that Cyberpunk comes out on December 10th. Is it? That's a Thursday. That's kind of weird. I say they push it back to the 15th. How about
weird,
that?
But okay.
Yeah, come out on a Tuesday, like a normal game.
I mean, I would argue that Friday is a normal game release day at this point.
Yeah, that's what it always should have been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's my turn. Go to vote.voteharris.vote/DensePixels asks you to vote. When you go to vote.bidenharris.vote/DensePixels asks you to vote, you will not only be helping yourself, you will be helping your fellow human being and trying to pull us out of the muck and mire that we are in right now. Go to vote.bidenharris.vote/DensePixels asks you to vote.
I'm not even correcting any of that.
And look, if you're mad that I'm telling you who to vote for, bite yourself and get glad and vote for them, because this is we live in unprecedented times, And I just the experiment was all right. You had your fun, right? You played the joke on all of us. I would like to get back to normal, please. Please. Vote Bidenharris.vote/dense asks you to vote.
So there was a big kerfluffle last week. Twitch took down a bunch of VODs for several streamers without explaining why, outside of the fact that it was a DMCA takedown request. So basically what happened is back in June, Twitch got a shitload of DMCA requests for takedowns related to copyrighted music in several Twitch streams, mostly VOD, video on demand Twitch streams that people upload to their Twitch channel as opposed to live stream, because the live streams only sit up for 2 weeks to a month depending on your status. So what it's kind of weird what happened here. So typically Twitch works on a 3-strike system for this stuff. If you get a DMCA takedown, you get strike 1. If it happens 3 times, you get banned. So for this one, because it happened in such a mass situation, nobody actually got a strike on their account. They all got a warning. But the problem is that they didn't explain to anyone what content was in the videos that caused it to get taken down. And they just deleted their files off of the system. And if you don't back your stuff up, which a lot of people don't, like once you upload it, you just that's it. It's on the server forever. That content's gone. Like unless you have a copy on your computer somewhere, it's going to be gone forever. So it pissed off a lot of people. And then Twitch says going forward, clips that are identified as having copyrighted music will be deleted without penalty to help ensure that you do not receive takedown notifications from rights holders. Now, typically with Twitch, when if you have copyrighted music in the background of your stream, they will just mute those sections of your stream on playback. But again, that's for something that's streamed on their channel, not stuff that's uploaded after the fact. Even games are getting in on this. Like FIFA has a new feature that got added in through an update this week, that it has a setting in the settings that you can disable music playback in the background for the purposes of streaming. Because I know I streamed FIFA before, and on the playback, like anytime I'm in a menu, there's just nothing going on because there's music playing in the background in FIFA. So yeah, this was it does very much suck that they didn't give people a chance to at least download the stuff off the network.
Yeah.
That
sucks.
Yeah, I just don't get why you couldn't give people like a week warning, be like, hey, take these videos down within the next 3 days, otherwise, or we've disabled. I don't even know if they can do it, but hey, we've disabled playback on these videos. Please download them if you want to save them because they're getting struck off, and just give them a heads up. That's why people are mad. They were mad because they didn't have any kind of advanced warning on this happening. It just happened out of the blue.
Yeah, it's they're all programmed to just do it, right? Like they're not programmed to say, hey,
right,
just to warn you, we're going to take your stuff down. Like that sucks, man.
Now, that being said, it led to the utterance of one of the stupidest things that anybody in the gaming industry has said out loud that I can recall in quite some time, which is amazing considering that how many stupid things have been said in the gaming industry. So there's a gentleman named Alex Hutchinson. He's the creative director of Typhoon Studios, which is a studio that was recently acquired by Google to prop up the Stadia platform, the robust and not fledgling Stadia platform right now. And so basically, Alex Hutchinson comes out on Twitter. I'm gonna quote him verbatim as to what he said about this issue. Streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they used music they didn't pay for should be more worried by the fact that they're streaming games they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce it. The real truth is the streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the games they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content that they use.
Yo, this is the stupidest thing I've heard in a very long time, yo. I mean, there's a lot. There's a few things to unpack here. They should be more worried about the fact that they're streaming games that they didn't pay for. Yeah, they did. Either one, they did pay for it and they're streaming it, or two, the developer and the publisher gave them the games
Right.
to stream
for the purposes of streaming.
Right, so that they can advertise their game to people, to their followers. Like what does he think? What does he think is happening?
This is something that the game publishing so to be clear, he is correct that if a publisher ever decided to assert a copyright claim against someone streaming their game on Twitch, they would be successful because because they are allowed to determine how their product is broadcasted. However, there's a reason that the game industry doesn't do this, because they understand that streaming is the freest form of advertising that fucking exists.
It really is, dude. It really is. You see a bunch of people having fun with a game. They're probably going to show more enthusiasm if you gave it to them. And they're having so much fun. And then they tell all their followers, oh, this game is, I follow a few streamers. Mm-hmm. And this is the MO, right? A game is coming out. Mm-hmm. They dedicate a ton of coverage on that game. And these people are just streamers. They're not journalists. They're not, investigative reporters. They're not going out and talking to developers about this stuff. They are regurgitating the news that you and I already read, right? They just put it on YouTube, right? And they talk about how excited they are for the game. And lo and behold, publisher or developer sees this and is like, hey, they see how many followers the person has, and they're like, oh, hey, this person has a ton of followers. Maybe we hook them up with a digital code and they can play the game, tell everybody how great it is, and they'll get people to buy our game. Like, it's not hard, man.
It's really not. People like, oh, how do these streamers get the game a week before I can buy it? Because they were fucking given it by the publisher.
Right.
Their job, because like the publisher gave it to them for free in advance of the release so that they get you hype.
Right. Guess what, folks?
That's literally it.
Guess what? It literally just happened on the Nerdpocalypse. We were talking about a masturbatory device. We were talking about, oh, this looks dumb. Wait a minute. We actually started talking good things about it. The person who is in charge of monitoring online presence saw that, heard us, and contacted us and say, hey, we want to give you one of these things so you can try it out. And if you like it, tell people that you like it. Like, we weren't angling for this fucking dick-blowing machine. Like, we were just talking about it one time. We were talking about it one time, said, you know what? This probably ain't that bad. And they gave it to us. And not only that, they gave us a bunch of swag and all this other shit. Like, they gave it to us because it's free publicity. Like, I mean, it amazes me that people who have been on this planet for as long as they have don't know how the world works.
Again, it's one of the dumbest things you could have uttered publicly, and he got rightfully piled on for it. Now, for those of you that say that his name may ring familiar, it didn't ring familiar for me, but it was brought to my attention. Not the first time that Alex Hutchinson has decided to say ridiculously stupid things about video games on the internet. As it happens, he used to work for Ubisoft. Shockingly.
Oh, okay. So some dummy said something dumb, and he worked for Ubisoft.
Right.
Wow.
So he was the guy. He was the guy that said in Far Cry 4's co-op mode why there weren't women. The team didn't have any women on hand to do the reading for the character. That's why there weren't women in the game for Far Cry 4's co-op. He's also the guy who has one of the more infamous statements in gaming history for Assassin's Creed Unity. And the reason why there are no playable women characters in that is because, quote, they were too difficult to animate.
Oh shit! I didn't realize he was the guy.
He was that guy that made that for Ubisoft that said, "Hey, we can't put women in the game. They're too hard to draw. What can you do?"
Oh shit!
What can you do?
We could draw a man with 18 layers of clothing on, but can't do the same thing with a woman. Wow. Wow.
He is also somebody who has said that the gaming press are too quick to forgive Japanese game makers for substandard storytelling in video games.
Wow, dude.
So those are some things that Alex Hutchinson has said in the past. So really smart guy. So people were not only piling on him, but also in this day and age, talking to his boss.
Right.
Hey Google, like, this is your guy, like, this is your creative director, like, this is the dude that you're rolling out here doing this. And very quickly, they basically rolled out a statement that said, quote, "The recent tweets by Alex Hutchinson, creative director at the Montreal studio of Stadia Games and Entertainment, do not reflect those of Stadia, YouTube, or Google." And then Ryan Wyatt, who's in charge of YouTube gaming, also played out a statement that says, "We believe that publishers and creators have a wonderful symbiotic relationship that has allowed a thriving ecosystem to be created, one that has mutually benefited everyone." Yeah, that's the other thing. You work for fucking Google.
Right.
Like, you have like your company has spent the last 2 years trying to grow their video game streaming platform. I'm just to compete with Twitch. I don't know.
Oh my God, man!
I don't know why you'd say such a stupid thing.
I think he got a talking to, because I can't imagine that this last sentence in his Twitter bio was there before October 22nd. In all caps, all opinions are my own.
No shit.
Yeah. Jesus, dude. Oh man.
So yeah.
Wow.
Good.
I didn't know he was the women are so weird and different. We don't know how they walk. We don't know how women walk, so we can't animate them because it's too hard. I didn't know he was that guy. Wow.
So finally, this story came across my feed a couple of weeks ago. Apparently, cloud gaming could be a huge problem as far as climate change goes. And I don't know why no one thought of this. So there's studies that have been done. Basically, if a lot of gaming moves to the cloud, because of the carbon emissions that these data centers that are powering this cloud gaming is going to be emitting as a result, it can be incredibly damaging to the environment. According to the study, even if 30% of gaming transitions to the cloud, that can have a devastating impact on efforts to fight climate change because of carbon emissions. Apparently, right now, basically 7% of global network demand, so of all internet demand in the world, 7% of that is made up because of gaming. But currently 95% of that 7% is through game downloads. They're not from streaming. So there's not the back and forth information going on nearly as much. But obviously, with all these companies like Microsoft, with Google, with now Amazon, and eventually Sony, we presume, moving more towards the cloud, this could be a major problem. Now, fortunately, and especially at 4K, there was a conservative, like that 30% study that I gave you, that was the conservative estimate, focusing mostly on 720p and 1080p, and they say if it's 4K, like that's you're screwed. If it's predominantly 4K. Fortunately, Microsoft has already committed to being completely carbon negative by 2030. They have said. I know Google is working towards that as well. Sony has said some of the same things too. So it seems like game companies are aware. But I found it interesting because all this talk about cloud gaming carbon emissions have never really been part of the equation, and that's kind of scary considering that we are in a global fight to move things the other direction as far as that goes.
Yeah, that's wow. I never would have. Brad, get your politics out of my gaming. I don't know what your problem is. You've been on Look Forward too much, man. You've been on Look Forward too much. All this politics.
You confront me with the truth. Backs the fuck out of here.
Thank you, Brad. It's Dense Pixels post office time. Cam says, what was better in the wrestling week? Le Dîner Debonair with Jericho and MJF on AEW, or Sasha versus Bailey's match of the year candidate at Hell in a Cell. I didn't get a chance to watch all of Hell in a Cell. Mm-hmm. Side note, try to factor out the revelations that Jericho donated several $1,000s to Trump. Look, unless people show me otherwise, I assume all white people donate to Trump. So you know, it makes life a lot easier.
No one should be surprised about that. Again, Chris Jericho has come out this year as an All Lives Matter dude.
Yeah,
which is not which sucks. Which sucks. There's a very specific denotation between WWE Chris Jericho and AEW Chris Jericho. Like basically, like when he left WWE, because I just went back and watched some, like you just made the list highlights.
Yeah.
And he just kind of stopped trying. Like he's just like, you know what, dad bod, we're just gonna make it happen. Yeah. We're just gonna grow the long hair, even though it looks like shit now because I'm in my late 40s. Yeah, like I said, the double turn, the real life double turn happening this year with Chris Jericho and Randy Orton has been the best storytelling of 2020 so far.
Yeah, I couldn't. Who would have thunk it? Like seriously. The best wrestling thing this week is the whole Roman Reigns story.
It's pretty good. The Bailey Sasha match was very good.
I'll have to watch.
I definitely recommend checking it out. Not as good, still not as good. Did not quite get to their the famous takeover match several years ago. I don't think that match is still up in my personal top 5 of all time. I think.
Gregory says, "Are you going to hold off opening your consoles, your next gen consoles, if Trump wins the election? My house would be in mourning. No, because I don't want to blow my brains out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need something.
That might be how you get over it. Also, we might not know if the election is decided by that point. Right. Very possibly. Right. So,
Amir says, "When are we getting that second episode of Beyond the Register? When we can get other GameStop people here. The problem is, you know, if we didn't live in the times we live in now, we could easily get more people to be on these, but not everybody has a podcast set up. This network prides itself on a certain level of quality. You know, we're not gonna have somebody do a podcast with a laptop mic. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it just is not gonna happen. And Jay can barely afford to pay us, so we are not going to hand out hundreds of dollars of podcast equipment to people who probably will only do this thing once. Mm-hmm. But we do plan on doing it. We just got to get the time. Leonardo says, has Terrence played the 10 out of 10 Star Wars game for VR, Vader Immortal? Get on it, Terrence. We'll have to ask him. Terrence is not Terrence is not a Star Wars person. The only reason he started getting into Star Wars is because John Boyega was in it. And he would tell you that. He'll just be like, no, ain't nobody black in it. And then he saw a black guy who wasn't like 70 years old. And that's when he started. Rashawn says, with the possibility of there being an Xbox Fire Stick type device coming out in 2021, does Micah regret ordering the Series X now and wasting $500? If this happens, also, if this does happen, will there ever be a point of buying an Xbox console ever again? What is this Fire Stick device thing?
I didn't hear anything about it, but logically, That would make sense. Like if they came with like something that just does xCloud, for example.
Okay.
Like I could see that happening.
No, I won't regret it because I care about the environment. Tara says, "What did you think of the AOC Twitch stream?" I think we answered that earlier, Dara.
Didn't actually watch it, unfortunately, but like I said,
I
I
didn't.
find it impressive.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah, there's some YouTube clips that just have like highlights of her stream. She's a good person, man. She's a good person, right? Like she's like, I hope I don't get the imposter, and then she gets it like first, and then she's like, oh, and then she's like just kind of running like she's just kind of running around. She would be a terrible murderer. Like that's how I know this woman could never commit a crime ever, because she's just very blatant with her like, oh, I'm just walking around following you specifically for no reason, and then just bam, kill somebody and then reports it herself. Like she doesn't, like she didn't hightail it out of there.
Way to dissuade suspicion. Like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Look, a spouse dies is always the first one they look at is the other spouse.
True. I've watched every episode of Law and Order multiple times today.
Right. Rashawn says, are you getting colored plates for the PS5 since they're $39.99 from third-party sites right now? And a matte black finish would look amazing. I prefer getting African-American plates, not colored. We don't use that type of terminology anymore.
Yeah, apparently there's a website called platestation.com that is already manufacturing replacement like of the side plates for the system that are apparently very easy to install.
I kind of want an official one if I do. I it's just how I am. I don't like third-party hardware. I'll get it if I like have to, but I don't prefer it.
See, my thing is, so like in my office, I have like a little mini shelf that sits below my desk where the PlayStation is going to sit. So I'm not going to see the fucking thing anyway. So there's really no sense in dressing it up if you're not gonna be looking at it all the time. Now, if you have an entertainment center and that thing is going to look gaudy as hell, because look, I saw some of the pictures that came out from Vice today. I think Patrick Klepek had it on his entertainment center, and that thing looks like sticks out like a sore fucking thumb. I gotta tell you, up or down, it doesn't matter. Any way you put it up, it's like 15 inches tall and tall shit because media started unboxing it, and on its side, someone said it looks like a fucked up clam, like when it's sideways. Yeah, so I feel like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't need. People are like, "Oh, look at the design! Look at the design!" Like, I don't. I'm sure there's a reason why it looks like that. Like,
it's a very interesting design, but you know, it's great if your entertainment center isn't like doesn't have a theme or doesn't have a consistency to it.
Yeah,
and then that's like throwing like a bomb, like a grenade, like right in the middle of that. Whoa, like this looks like nothing that I fucking have here right now.
Yeah, man. Like my office is like a hodgepodge right now, but even still, like it's gonna be noticeable. I like my consoles to be like boxes, right? Like I just want a box, a rectangle or a square of some sort. Maybe even a rhombus, like that thing. Maybe even a rhombus, but I don't need too many curves. I don't need popped collars. Anyway, I won't be looking at it, but the monitor will be in the way, and then I can just look at the television. Will says, can we possibly get the TMP crew to one day do a stream of you all playing Among Us? I think it would be hilarious. That would be fun.
Requires us to all play on PC, though.
Yeah, and my PC is kind of on its last legs. I mean, I'm sure it'll run Among Us, but I don't know. Maybe that would be fun. Brandon says, most annoying or frustrating Hades enemy. Mine would be the giant butterfly ball. I'm inclined to agree with you. It's just sitting there taking up space, throwing those stupid butterflies at you. And while I'm zipping around trying to fight, other stuff, I don't like the shielded men.
The shielded Elysium dudes are the worst. They are hands down the worst. and the rage of seeing them in Elysium can only be surpassed by the rage of seeing them pop up during the Hades fight at the end when he summons like random enemies to get in your way.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah.
Close second are the red skeletons in Asphodel that throw sonic booms at you.
Yeah. Yeah, those shield dudes, man. Those shield dudes get on my damn nerves. Like yeah, they're a pain. And Stuart says, is Drew McIntyre losing the Universal Championship? Spoiler alert. No, I'm just playing. Is Drew McIntyre losing the Universal Championship the greatest instance of discrimination in WWE history, or what? What the fuck is your problem, McMahon? McMahon? I think they're doing it, one, because I think it's champion versus champion next month.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want Drew to lose to Roman, and they're not going to have Roman lose because Roman.
God, no, yeah, you don't want that to be. I mean, I know they ran that match at WrestleMania 2 WrestleManias ago, but now that you have built both guys up the way you built them up, like that's a you want that to be like a WrestleMania match.
Yeah, you want people in front of that, in front of that. And honestly, I kind of think you want people to be in front of Drew getting it back.
Well, and I had heard that they, because of COVID, like they were bummed that they wanted to give, not because he's a good guy, but because he's a guy they see pushing as like a big, tentpole star. They wanted him to really have the WrestleMania moment, not the COVID tempered WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
So you can't, him defending the title at WrestleMania doesn't get you that. He has to win the title at WrestleMania and have the journey that come from behind thing. Plus, you're not going to dime Randy Orton out 3 times in a row on pay-per-view like that, especially with as strong as his summer was with him turning heel on Edge and playing that role very well. You were never going to do that either. And they're already going to do interesting stuff. Like it looks like Randy Orton's next feud might be with Bray Wyatt, so they can call back to that whole their whole feud in the past, which they've already kind of laid the seeds for. And McIntyre can do some other things. Plus, maybe Miz now cashes in on Randy Orton, which would have some nice, poetry to it. You've opened up a lot of options.
Yeah, this is not a bad thing. This is they're not they're looking out for Drew. I think.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, with him losing now, like we talked a couple weeks ago about our early Royal Rumble predictions, he's now got to be your top choice to win the Royal.
Yeah.
And honestly, maybe he's the guy that knocks off Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? Like maybe he wins the Rumble and he's like, I'm actually gonna go after.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, that's a big match, man. I know Survivor Series is like one of the big 4, but it's the last of the big 4. And quite frankly, Money in the Bank is kind of creeping up on it.
Well, especially with what Survivor Series has become, it's almost like an exhibition pay-per-view because there's no real stakes. Like you're just like, oh, it's cross-brand, and this is the only time of year you see this, except for all the other times a year that we do it.
Right. Hey, congratulations. You've just been drafted from Raw to SmackDown. Now pledge your fealty to us. Like, nah, like who cares? just because you give me a red shirt, now I'm fighting and possibly getting injured for you? Get out of here.
Yeah. And not to say that it's not going to lead to good matches. Like that New Day Street Profits match is going to be fucking fire. That
sure
there, but just like I said, the stakes are very low. Nowadays. Thank you guys for submitting questions to the post office. Again, you can go to densepixels.com/fans, join our Facebook group, and submit questions that we will answer every week on the show. It is coming down to the wire for Extra Life. Carrie is still running her promotion. I think she's very close to her goal. Go to the densepixels.com page for this episode. You can get a link right to it. She's also posting the link in the fan group as well. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you go to youtube.com/densepixels. Subscribe there as well. And then follow us all on Twitch, those of us that use it anyway. I am Dense Pixels Brad. Terrence is Apparition 410. And Carrie is Stuff It's Carrie. You can expect me to be streaming Hades, Risk of Rain 2, and Dead Cells probably up until Assassin's Creed comes out when we get the PS5. And as far as like PS5 and Xbox Series X coverage, I don't know. It's kind of hard for us to do anything special because we can't get together, which is a damn shame because like the PS4 Xbox One video that we did back in the palatial studio ground floor studios back in the day was filmed on a potato camera, which sucks. And we have much nicer technology now and a lot more know-how in terms of like video editing. But we'll see. If you guys would be interested in seeing anything, let us know some content you might be interested in seeing. Just know that I'm only getting a PS5. Mike is getting both, so if you want to see comparisons, we'll see. Yeah. That's it for this episode. Thank you guys very much for watching and listening. We'll see you all in the next time. See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.